It's a huge matchup, tail of the tape. Number 4 against number 10. Florida, the lead in the all-time series. Fourth meeting with both teams ranked in the AP top 10. Both defenses allowing under 13 points per game. Randy, going to lead off with you in the quarterback matchup with the Mettenberger and Driscoll.
Well, when you look at this from the outside, you couldn't ask for two more different quarterbacks. That Mettenberger, big, stands tall in the pocket. He's been sacked a lot. I think he's playing a lot better than people give him credit for, but the problem is the offense has been just out of sync with him at quarterback, and he doesn't move around very well. Throws a very accurate long ball. Jeff Driscoll, on the other hand, is a guy that still, despite the fact that he's lost 70 yards with, running out of bounds and sacks, he's still averaging 4.5 yards rushing when he pulls that ball down. That's the big difference when the LSU defense has to go against this guy. I think if it's just a pure passing contest, Zach Mettenberger wins that.
Coach, how about the running game for Florida? Gillislee up against this tough LSU front.
He's been the workhorse. He's the guy that they depend on. He's got over 400 yards right now. He's the guy that's rushed for 2 straight touchdowns, 2 straight games. Hadn't had that done since Tim Tebow. But you see right here, this guy is very, very quick. They're opening up some good holes for him. I love the way this guy runs with his eyes. He runs behind his pads very, very well. This guy's a playmaker.
And then Alfred Blue dinged, but we've talked all year about the depth of running back for them, and Hilliard, the guy right now.
Doesn't make any difference with LSU because they're 3 and 4 deep. Kenny Hilliard right here has been their workhorse, and there's also Spencer Ware and a guy by the name of Michael Ford. So you got some running backs, you got some depth there, and you got some outstanding linemen, but they lost their left tackle. I think that's a key. They lost a very, very good left tackle, but Kenny Hilliard has really been the best friend for Mettenberger.
They've had to shuffle that whole offensive line because of the tackle.
Chris Falk, yep, exactly. What do you make of LSU over the last 2 weeks?
Well, I think guys just hit it. I mean, you've had the quarterback get banged around. We saw him get knocked out of the game against North Texas. I think that's hurt. And also, interesting comments this week by Thorold Simon, their great cornerback, who said that they feel like the lack of leadership hasn't really been there in the locker room. We talked about Tyrann Mathieu and what a playmaker he was. Some of that swagger and that attitude, I think they missed that a little bit. And Simon made an interesting comment this week to the New Orleans paper and said that this week Eric Reed, who's really the closest thing they have to a leader and maybe their best player in the secondary, was really fired up, gave an impassioned speech to the team, and we'll see how they respond because that energy, something's been missing a little bit. I mean, they obviously dominated Washington, but since then they've been pretty shaky.
Randy touched on the sacks of Driscoll. In the A&M game, he went down 8 times. And LSU certainly with the front guys can do that.
Well, Sam Montgomery and Barkevius Mingo, these guys are some bad to the bone defensive ends. And if you can corral Jeff Driscoll, you're going to need some guys who can get upfield, but yet not just rush the passer, come off of that rush and make some tackles in the run game. But you see Montgomery here, big, tall, both of these guys, big, tall, and lanky. And they've got all the patent moves you want in a defensive end. You see the straight up the field rush here, and he keeps going, never gives up on that quarterback, chasing him to the other side of the hash mark there. And then you got Mingo, upfield rush, able to come back underneath and make the tackle as the quarterback steps up. Shows his athleticism there. And once again, playing the run game, not going to fool these guys trying to get outside. They hold the edge as good as any defensive ends in all of college football. And that's what you're going to have to do if you're going to stop this young quarterback, Jeff Driscoll, that has just thoroughly impressed everyone thus far this season.
It's 4 versus 10 on Saturday, 3:30 Eastern on CBS.